Brian, Vanessa, we began the day with a courtroom full of jurors. By lunchtime,
30 years after Tupac Shakur was gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip, the only man ever charged with his murder is finally in front of a jury.
Boss pops pills and tells him he's got skills, but Kel's the day you put out a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got pop kill,
And there's one name, a name that is not on the indictment, that the biggest voices in rap have been attaching to this case for years.
Now, it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother.
And 50 Cent has been saying it for a decade, and now the cameras are asking him directly.
Now we have to talk about Tupac, which you have a lot of people saying stuff in there that makes it sound like maybe he was responsible for that murder, which has never been proven. That's a very serious thing.
But we have Keffe D over in Vegas now, getting ready to go on trial for that case, saying those things.
Yeah.
And according to a retired LAPD detective, the story starts with a phone call.
Back in LA, and Zip takes a phone call, and it's Puffy on the other end of the line, hands the phone to Keffe D, and Puffy asks him, man, was that us? Was it, what just happened out there? Keffe D's like, yeah, that's us.
Okay. So then there's that $1 million.
So now there's this.
Let's get into it. Live from Las Vegas. On the morning of August 10th, 2026, jury selection began in Clark County District Court in the case of the state of Nevada versus Dwayne Keffe D. Davis. Judge Carly Kearney presiding. One count, first-degree murder with a deadly weapon with a gang enhancement for allegedly orchestrating the drive-by that killed Tupac on September 7th, 1996. Davis is 63. He turned down a plea deal reported at 10 to 25 years to sit in that courtroom. If the jury goes against him, he dies in prison.
We are here today to announce the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keffe D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
The prosecution's case is built, more than anything, on Keffe D's own mouth. The book, the interviews, and above all, a recorded 2008 sit-down with police that a judge ruled 2 weeks before trial. The jury will get to hear for themselves.
He says, I can't tell you anything about Biggie, that wasn't us, but I can certainly tell you what happened to Tupac because that was us, and I was there, and I participated in it.
The witness list runs close to 200 names. Suge Knight, the only other survivor of that BMW, is expected to testify. And according to USA Today's reporting, so is a former bodyguard for Sean Diddy Combs. Tupac's family is watching too. His stepbrother Mopreme spent the week before trial doing interviews, telling CNN what 3 decades of waiting has done to the people who loved Pac, and making it clear the family wants more than one name held responsible for that night. That last name is the reason the whole industry is watching this trial through their fingers. Diddy is not charged in this case. No indictment, no witness summons. But he isn't home either. He's watching all of this from a federal cell in New Jersey, and we'll get to why fans think that cell is exactly what has him panicking. Because the story dragging his name into this courtroom has a paper trail, and the judge just let almost all of it in. The $1 million story. So what exactly is the story that keeps dragging Diddy's name into a Vegas courtroom he's got no official business in? It comes from Keffe D himself, and it's been on the record since 2008. In that police interview, the one the jury will now hear, Keffe D described a meeting at Greenblatt's Deli in Los Angeles, where he says Diddy told him he wanted Tupac and Suge Knight, quote, gotten rid of, and put $1 million on it. Greg Kading, the retired LAPD detective who ran the task force and sat across from Keffe D in that room, has been telling the story the same way for 15 years.
Diddy hears about the shooting, finds out that there's, Tupac's been shot and is in the hospital in Las Vegas. And according to Keffe D, he gets a phone call. He's actually with Zip.
And then the part that made this story immortal. In Kading's account of Keffe D's telling, right after the shooting, the phone rings.
And they're back in LA, and Zip takes a phone call, and it's Puffy on the other end of the line. Hands the phone to Keffe D, and Puffy asks him, man, was that us? Was it, what just happened out there? Keffe D's like, yeah, that's us.
Okay. So then there's that $1 million.
$1 million allegedly promised. And according to Keffe D's long-running version, Never Fully Paid, he's complained for years that the money never made it to the Southside Compton Crips. And unlike every documentary and every diss track, this courtroom comes with subpoena power and a judge who has been letting the evidence in. The book is real. Keffe D published it in 2019 under the title Compton Street Legend, with Puffy Combs named right there in the subtitle. The recordings are real too. In a later sit-down with authorities, quoted in this case's own court filings, the exchange reads like a deposition from a nightmare. Investigator: Puffy Combs, Keffe D. Yeah. Does he play a role in this thing? Yeah, I think he did. And then, I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period. I swear to God, he messed up my life, man.
The money.
But thank God he never gave him the money, right? Think about it. If he gave the money, Puffy will be in prison now, money for hire, a murder for hire. So thank God, it's just a true story. I'm not saying yes or no, but if he would have gave them the money, it'd have been a murder for hire and Puffy would be locked up.
Keffe D has spent years talking around that story in his own voice. On Vlad TV, he even reasoned out loud that if the $1 million had actually changed hands, quote, Puffy would be in prison now, murder for hire. His hedge every time. I'm not saying yes or no. And Diddy's name isn't just floating in interviews, it has already been in the case file. When prosecutors opposed Keffe D's bail back in 2024, their filing reportedly named Sean Combs dozens of times because Keffe D had alleged the conspiracy began in California between himself, his longtime friend Eric Zip Martin, and Combs, with the $1 million said to flow through Zip. The Sun and other outlets ran the filings details at the time. The rest of the story, prosecutors say, ran through family. Keffe D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, had been jumped by Pac and Death Row's crew in the MGM Grand lobby just hours before the shooting. Payback for a Death Row chain snatched at a Lakewood Foot Locker weeks earlier. In Keffe D's own accounts, the white Cadillac that pulled up at Flamingo and Koval that night carried 4 men, and the alleged bounty gave the mission its price tag. Anderson was named by police as the likely shooter almost immediately. He denied it, was never charged, and was killed in an unrelated Compton gang shooting in 1998, which left exactly one survivor of that car still alive to tell the story, and eventually to be charged for it. Keffe D has even been recorded in archival audio, putting himself in Death Row's orbit in his own voice.
Man, I started that music industry, that Death Row shit, man.
With Pat.
I did the work for that shit.
Okay.
Now, the fair version of this, it has never been proven. Diddy has denied it for years. No prosecutor has ever charged him in connection with Tupac's death. And even Kading himself has said he doubts Diddy truly meant for anyone to die. His exact read was that Puffy's not built like Suge Knight. That's why commentators covering this trial keep landing on the same scenario. If 12 jurors decide the $1 million story is true, then the man who allegedly put the money up has a problem that doesn't expire, because conspiracy to commit murder has no statute of limitations. Nobody is saying an indictment is coming, but for the first time in 30 years, the story is being tested somewhere Diddy's lawyers can't object it out of existence, but the record never stopped the 2 loudest men in hip-hop, which brings us to the documentary. December 2nd, 2025, Netflix drops Sean Combs' The Reckoning, executive produced by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, landing while Diddy was already behind bars. The allegations, the footage, laid out episode after episode for the biggest streaming audience on the planet. 50 didn't hide why he made it.
Look, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip-hop is fine with his behaviors. There's no one else being vocal.
And here's why that documentary hangs over this trial. When The Reckoning dropped, clips of Keffe D's old confession went viral as newly discovered footage, 17-year-old tape hitting millions like breaking news, packaged by 50 Cent. Fans watched it reshape how the public saw Diddy's own case. They joked his jury pool must have seen it before they ever reached the courthouse. True or not, that joke is now the theory. Because now it writes itself, and you'll find it all over the comment sections. If 50's team dug that deep into Diddy's world once, the tapes, the witnesses, what else is sitting in that vault? And if anything in it touches Tupac, there is now a live murder trial in Las Vegas for it to land in. Nobody outside 50's camp knows what he has, but everybody remembers what happened the last time he pressed play. 50 never let it go. 50 Cent's history with Diddy isn't internet-era beef. It's 25 years deep, and it started with a rejection. Around 2001, before the fame, 50 sat across from Diddy looking for a deal. And according to Tony Yayo, Diddy turned him down flat. "We can't sign you, playboy. It's too much drama." Too much drama meant a man who just survived 9 bullets. Diddy still quietly used him as a ghostwriter. And years later, 50 made sure everyone knew exactly what he'd written, rapping on the I Get Money remix. Shootouts, coastal beefs, yeah, Diddy did it, but my lawyer's so good that Diddy got acquitted. He put those words in Diddy's mouth for money once. He's been putting words in Diddy's story for free ever since. By 2006, on a track called The Bomb, he was already rapping that Puffy knew who killed Biggie Smalls. He's turned down the white parties for decades, saying there was always, in his words, an uncomfortable energy connected to it. Then Keffe D got arrested in September 2023, and 50 went to another level. In the days after the news broke, he posted the famous photo of Pac and Suge in the BMW, taken minutes before the shooting, and captioned it, "So Pac got hit by Brother Love, LOL, time to lawyer up, so it might get sticky. Brother Love." Diddy's own nickname aimed back at him like a charge sheet. From there, it never stopped. The AI photos, the Puffy juice jokes, the constant needling, and behind the trolling, a straight face. When he sat down with Robin Roberts, he wasn't laughing. And when Keffe D's trial finally arrived this month, 50 greeted it the way only he can, posting that he wants to put a bet on how many years, quote, "this fool is going to get." To fans, the through line is obvious. The man who made the reckoning has been telling everyone for 2 decades exactly which chapter he thinks got left out of Diddy's story, the Tupac chapter. And 50 isn't even the loudest voice on this anymore. Then Eminem said it on wax. September 2018. Eminem is aiming at Machine Gun Kelly on Kill Shot, and in the middle of a diss record, he detours to drop the most infamous conditional in modern rap.
Boss pops pills and tells him he's got skills, but Kel's the day you put out a hits, the day Diddy admits that he put the hit out, they got pot kill, ah?
The industry gasped, then laughed it off. M even tagged a "just playing" onto the record. Diddy never responded publicly, but the people around him did. Jay Electronica, signed to Diddy's orbit at the time, fired off a tweet he later deleted, "How dare you accuse Diddy of killing Tupac," followed by a warning that M should tread carefully. Grown men were threatening each other over a bar, and according to Joe Budden, who asked Diddy about it directly, the answer behind closed doors was ice cold. "There's nothing to say about it, it's in my hands. He wild." Fans expected that to be the end of it. Instead, 6 years later, July 2024, Eminem came back to the subject on a track called Fuel, and this time he didn't use a punchline. He used a name. Rest in peace, Biggie and Pac. Both of y'all should be living, but I ain't trying to beef with him, cause he might put a hit on me like Keffe D, get him.
Be rest in peace, Biggie and Pac, both of y'all should be living, yep, but I ain't trying to beef with him, cause he might put a hit on me like Keffe D, get him.
Read that again. A year before this trial had a date, the biggest selling rapper alive put Diddy and Keffe D in the same bar, in the same breath, on an album that went #1. And it wasn't an isolated line. Across the same record, M kept circling Diddy. Another track nods at the Cassie Hotel video. Another at the allegation that Diddy had a bomb put in Kid Cudi's car. Song after song, the same target. And remember whose career Eminem built. He's the man who signed 50 Cent in 2002. The two of them have moved as a unit for 20 years, and on this one subject, they've been pointing in exactly the same direction. Bars aren't evidence, but pressure like that doesn't need a courtroom. And days before this trial began, the pressure did something nobody predicted. The reversal. Days before jury selection, Keffe D sat for a jailhouse interview with 8 News Now in Las Vegas, and the man whose 2008 confession built this entire theory took it all back.
Had anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
No, ma'am. I don't think so at all.
What about Biggie's?
I don't think neither one.
No, ma'am. After the book, after the interviews, after 17 years of the $1 million story, Keffe D now says Diddy had nothing to do with Pac, nothing to do with Biggie, and points instead at, quote, police is out there in our area. In other corners, he's pointed at Reggie Wright Jr. Anywhere, fans noticed, except the two names in his own 2008 recording, his nephew and the man from the deli. And headlines from that same jailhouse interview carried one more twist, Keffe D saying he didn't kill anyone, but he knows who did. The internet's reaction was instant and merciless. Some fans are convinced the reversal is the tell itself. Under one viral trial post, a top comment insisted Keffe D will flip again on the stand under oath, confirming the hit when it counts. Another simply predicted he walks. On Reddit, the sarcasm wrote itself, definitely not Diddy. Others pointed at the timing, clearing the most powerful man connected to the story right before a trial where your own recorded words are the star witness. Even Tupac's own family carries versions of this suspicion. His stepbrother Mopreme says Diddy once called him personally, out of nowhere, just to say he had nothing to do with it.
It's like, I just want you to know I ain't have nothing to do with your brothers. You know, I know who you are, but we never met.
An unprompted phone call to a grieving family, just to deny it. Mopreme has also described how, in his telling, Bad Boy's people had the neighborhood covered the night Pac was set up at Quad Studios back in '94, the wound that started the whole war.
Bad Boy and their allies had covered that whole neighborhood. They were there.
And here's the seat Diddy is watching it all from. Remember how his own trial ended in 2025? The jury acquitted him of the biggest charges, racketeering and trafficking, and convicted him on 2 Mann Act counts, 50 months, a $500,000 fine, a cell at FCY Fort Dix, release date early 2028, with his lawyers calling the sentence, in their own filing, a perversion of justice. He beat the charges that could have buried him, but fans keep circling one scenario anyway, a co-defendant turned storyteller, staring at life with exactly one card left to play, a name. What should worry Diddy, they argue, isn't this verdict, it's what a desperate man might say to escape it. For the next month, a Las Vegas courtroom gets to test every version of this story under oath, and somewhere in a New Jersey prison sits the one man who knows whether 50 Cent's vault has a Tupac chapter in it. The last time cameras told Diddy's story, it put a 17-year-old confession in front of 100 million people. The next tape, if it exists, won't be his to release. That'll be all for now. See you in the next one.